Howdy everybody, it's me, the guy who made the Some Nerd Rants About Ava Tyson and Mr. Beast video a while back. If you're looking for a re-upload of that video, well you're in luck because that's exactly what this video is. However, I'm adding this part at the beginning because I believe Dogpack on things that I absolutely should not have. These things include, Dogpack claimed that Mr. Beast was running illegal lotteries left, right, and center. It seems most if not all of these lotteries have been proven to be completely above board. Dogpack claimed that the guy who won $1 million from Mr. Beast's Mark was given only 24 hours to spend all the money that he got. According to Soggy Cereal, the Mr. Beast company actually put Mark on a salary to ensure he wouldn't run out of money, and Dogpack dishonestly edited clips of Mark talking to portray a false narrative. Dogpack claimed that many of the winners of the illegal lotteries were supposed to appear in later Mr. Beast vids that they never did. That is true because of COVID problems. However, these winners were still compensated. Dogpack also lied about the employee Mac, who he claimed was living in a mansion and had lots of money at the time Mr. Beast videos were portraying him as being homeless. According to Soggy Cereal, the mansion Dogpack claimed Mac owned was actually owned by a completely different employee. There was also the incident where a bunch of Mr. Beast fans sent in their files so that Mr. Beast could put them on a rocket and send them to the moon. The rocket blew up, and Dogpack claimed the people that sent in their files were never compensated, when according to Soggy Cereal, they in fact were. Now, not everything in my original video was proven false. For example, the Ava Tyson stuff still seems to be true, and the allegations against the Beast games still seem to be up in the air. But enough was proven wrong that made me want to take down the original upload and re-upload it with this addendum at the beginning. I want to give a sincere apology to Mr. Beast and the crew for getting wrong what I did get wrong, and I'm going to make an earnest effort to keep this from happening again. Alright, that's the end of my preamble. Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has a grooming allegation against them. Alright, this is gonna be another one of those unorganized rants. Just, what is going on with Mr. Beast crew right now? Bro, I don't even know how to start this video. Where do you begin when examining a train wreck? Alright, Ava, this tweet right here. This is coming from a guy who has a framed picture of something Shadowman drew in their living room, in their centerpiece. What? So you're telling me you bought a drawing of what looks like an 11 or 9-year-old girl? I don't know what age she's supposed to be. I'm going to assume she's prepubescent. This freaking child's wearing skimpy clothing and has a tattoo on her thigh that says BBC. Not only did you buy this, you put it in your living room as a centerpiece? This is gonna sound like I'm trying to be mean, and I promise you I'm not. Was Ava groomed as a child? Because there is no way you live a just normal life, no trauma at all, and think this is okay when you're like 20 something. And if that's the case, did nobody in Mr. Beast's camp or Jimmy himself tell her this is a bad idea to have in your room? Did nobody question this? And it was in a video posted to YouTube too. Am I taking crazy pills? I don't even know what to say anymore. This is barely the beginning of the video and I'm already at a loss for words. The levels of incompetency and degeneracy are just truly something special. And we haven't even touched her social media yet. Now listen, I can believe Mr. Beast not checking what's her name's Reddit. Like maybe it's just because I don't know a lot of Redditors, but who says, yo bro, check out my new fire Reddit posts. But the Twitter and the Discord are a little harder to excuse. I think aren't there some tweets where Ava legit just adds Mr. Beast? I'm pretty sure in that tweet that I mentioned earlier, she added Mr. Beast. Like I heard Jimmy was in one of the Discords where Ava and a bunch of 14-year-olds were hanging out, calling each other like daddy and posting not safe for work. And I want to clarify, it's not like these kids snuck into the Discord lying about their age. That happens a lot. But no, Ava knew the ages of these people and would add them on private Snapchats knowing their age. And then there's that one post where Ava's all indignant that Discord's like, hey, if you can't police minors from getting in your not safe for work chat, don't have the not safe for work chat. And Ava's all like, what, am I, a parent? And then Lava, the alleged groomed victim of Ava, they act smarter. This 14-year-old is acting smarter than the 25-year-old. Lava's saying, get rid of the chat, we can't keep kids from getting in there. And you also work with Mr. Beast, who is extremely popular with kids, so of course kids are going to try to join your server. But no, Ava really wanted to post her nudes for the children in the server, I guess, so they kept it. Also, I want to say, for some reason, it's normal on the internet to call like a content creator that you like mom or dad. but you usually don't call them daddy. They usually don't call you daddy back unless they make like not safe for work content, and even then, I can't imagine that happening that much. And they also don't couple that with kissing emojis, especially when they know you're underage. Like these DMs, Ava's straight up flirting with these minors like they're a high school couple. And then there's like a Discord conversation, an actual recorded voice call where Ava's talking about someone like performing fellatio on somebody who has cancer. Like, I know kids talk about that stuff at that age, but I don't know. I feel like as a 25-year-old, you shouldn't flirt with them and tell them to check out your spicy pics. Oh, and then there's the Jeanette McCurdy video where after Jeanette had some, like, revenge porn leaked of her, Ava made the vid that was like, yeah, bro, Jeanette McCurdy had some really risque new pictures of her leak. I'm not saying you should look at it as revenge porn, but I've linked it in the description if you want to do so. But like, what are the words coming out of your mouth right now? What were you thinking? Now listen, kids, I'm not saying you should bomb a school. That's terrorism. That's really, really bad. But if you're ever so inclined, I have a bunch of C4 stashed in my garage, and I'll give you the detonators free of charge. And then we get to her statement after all this comes out. She's like, yeah, bro, my sense of humor back in the day was quite unhinged. I was a big menace. A lot of those jokes wouldn't fly today. All right, y'all. Y'all can look up that Jeanette McCurdy vid on your own. I'm not gonna play the whole thing in this video, but I just want to say, tell me if you ever so inclined to look at that video, come back here and tell me, did any part of that video read like a joke to you? Especially the part where there is a link in the description to the leaked images. And circling back to the art that was bought, at least if the tweet just ended at "I bought the piece," you could say, no, I just bought it ironically. Like, it would still be an absolute garbage defense, but at least it would be something. But no, you had to continue. You had to run your mouth and say, and I quote, and has it as a centerpiece in his living room. Nobody buys something and makes it the centerpiece of a room in their house if they don't like that thing. That is not a joke anymore, bro. Like, I made a joke in the Alex Choi vid that I made, which, by the way, if you want something a lot less degenerate, go check out that vid. It's a lot more lighthearted than this. But anyways, I made a joke in that vid saying I would use my Cessna 173 to fly a bunch of C4 plastic explosives across the country. But to anybody that knows me knows that it's a joke because I do not own C4 nor a Cessna 173. But if I posted on my community tab immediately after uploading this video a screenshot of me purchasing both of those items, I feel like you would understand why people would be suspicious. I am genuinely floored at everything that's come out about this person, and I'm not gonna read the DMs or the logs. There's just too much stuff. And it just keeps coming out too. It feels like every couple of days we get more stuff. We don't. I don't think I broke it. I've actually broken right now. And now people are asking, was Mr. Beast aware? I mean, he had to have been aware of something, right? He went to Ava's house. Like, how are you gonna miss that? Anyways, we're going to move on from the degeneracy of Ava to the absolute baffling levels of incompetency and scumminess displayed by Mr. Beast. So, everything's going down right now. Mr. Beast is probably feeling a few bricks fall out of his booty hole right now. And then, a YouTube person, an alleged former employee of the Beastman himself, uploads an almost hour-long video called "I worked for Mr. Beast, he's a fraud," and this thing is just loaded to the brim with some juicy information. So I highly recommend that you pause this video and go watch the other video. Like, there were a few things that bugged me about the video, but nothing that invalidated the whole thing. Seriously, that guy sums things up much better than I ever could. But anyways, let's just run through a few things that were said here. So, Mr. Dog here claims that Mr. Beast is actually not really a magnanimous person. He just intentionally tries to portray himself that way so that the kids watching him will believe that if they watch Mr. Beast, they will reap a reward of some kind. Mr. Beast will give them something. Like, I don't know, they could be in a video, they could win a car from him, they could win a PS5 from him. But it turns out a lot of the contestants in the Mr. Beast videos where they're like competitions are like paid actors or people that actually work at the company. And of course he provides a few examples. I think my favorite one that he provides is this one guy that they get to do this obstacle course thing and then he wins, so he gets a few, I think like 80K or something, and then they do like a post Super Bowl interview and the guy's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Jimmy. You don't know how much this means to me." And it turns out the guy's an employee. and he like lives in a giant mansion. And then in that Rubik's Cube vid that he did where it's like boys versus girls trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, one of the girls was his hiring manager. Oh, and then another thing he brings up is that Mr. Beast fakes a lot of his videos, or at least a lot of stuff in it. And we're not just talking about like the really bad CGI. He lies about stuff that I think could get him in trouble. And like there was that one thing that happened a while back where Rosanna Pansino, I think she finished 4th, and then Mr. Beast edited the video to make it so that it looked like she was kicked out earlier than she was for whatever reason. I still don't understand why he thought that was a good idea. This feels like such a high risk, low reward thing, because I assume that he kicked her out because he wanted the people with the bigger fan bases to watch the video so that he would get more views and like the longer watch time, higher retention rate or something. But I feel like just the fact that there were so many massive YouTubers in this thing, that it would have been fine if he didn't do that. And now he's made a lifelong enemy basically in Rosanna Pansino, as well as other people that corroborated her story like Quackity. Like a bunch of people are saying, oh, Sunny V2 is vindicated. But I watched that video Sunny made. At no point did he call friggin' Ava a pedophile. You know who was vindicated? Rosanna and Quackity. And then there was also that instance with the Rubik's Cubes where he pays the one guy who knew how to solve the Rubik's Cubes to leave the boys' team and to give the girls an advantage on top of giving them a drone to spy on the boys' team. And this was portrayed as a legit competition, so either this vid is fake, which Jimmy, I guess, really doesn't want to say that it is, or he's blatantly rigging the competition. Anyways, moving on, Mr. Dogpack404 here talks about the Feastables business model and how he doesn't like it. He says it feels more like a lottery for kids than it is just a candy company. And I just want to, there is one thing in this segment that he does. Again, go watch the video because he sums everything up. But I just want to point this out because I was on the floor when I heard this. So Mr. Beast did a thing called Shelfie Cleanups, where what the whole premise of this was when kids would go to the store for whatever reason, they would go check on the Feastables aisle. And then A, if the shelves were messy, they would try and clean them up. But B, my personal favorite part, if they were out of Feastables on that shelf, the kid would walk up to some random Walmart employee and said, hey, go check in the back if you have more Feastables. You guys are out. Jimmy straight up asked these kids to do this. Can you imagine seeing that? A Walmart employee doing whatever, and then some random kid in a Mr. Beast shirt eating a chocolate bar, iPad in one hand, waiting in a Fortnite lobby with Cocomelon playing on the screen in the picture-in-picture mode, and he walks up to the employee and is like, yo bro, you're out of the Beast Bars. How is this real life? Oh, by the way, of course there was a $5,000 cash prize if you did this. Alright, next point. So Mr. Beast was hosting a stream where he was shipping out shirts to fans who ordered them, but if you bought a shirt within a certain time frame, you were supposed to win a prize. So it'll be like, hey bro, you buy a shirt in the next 5 minutes, you'll win a prize. And then people buy shirts, but then Mr. Beast, he doesn't send out the prize. He's like, actually no, next 30 seconds if you buy a shirt, you win a prize. And this was just a cycle over and over. So many people were supposed to win prizes, even on screen. I think it was supposed to have a little thing that said your name if you won a prize or not. And even if your name was there, you still wouldn't get anything extra. This happened multiple times on the stream, by the way. This wasn't just a one-time thing. Did nobody tell him at any point this was a bad idea? Because it seems like he couldn't keep up with actually shipping out the things he said he was going to ship. Like, at some point it becomes, are you really stupid and you just don't think before you do things? Or are you actively trying to mislead the people watching your thing? And now I get to talk about, I think, the worst thing, in my opinion, that Dogpack brought up, where they did the whole giving this random guy $1 million. And so, yeah, the guy won $1 million, but Mr. Beast, in his infinite wisdom, decided to make him spend the entire $1 million in the span of a very, very short amount of time, all for the video. Like, one of the things they told him was to buy a house, but he only had an hour to pick out a house. Are you insane? You're setting the guy up for failure. And the guy claims Mr. Beast was going to send some guy over to help him set up an investment portfolio, but that person never came. Like, I know people that win the lottery often go broke really quickly, but at least it's, like, kinda through their own decisions. It's a problem, but at least you could make the argument they did it themselves. They don't have Mr. Beast breathing down their neck being like, spend the video, we need to get this thing, however much money, we need to crank this boy out in, like, 2 days. Allegedly, the culture working for Mr. Beast is, like, really, really culty, or criticism of any kind is discouraged, and that makes so much sense looking at all of this stuff. Like, the only way this all makes sense in my head is if everybody was just too afraid to say how terrible these ideas were. Now, if you believe it, it can get even worse because apparently the Beast Crew were trying to film this thing called the Mr. Beast Games, which, from what I heard, it was basically like Squid Games, except nobody died. It was going to be on Amazon Prime, which, by the way, I need to rant about this just for a hot second. Why does everybody keep trying to recreate the Squid Games when the Squid Games in the show, the actual Squid Games show, was the bad thing? There's a quote that I heard a long time ago. I don't know where it's from, but it goes something like, "A lot of stories are supposed to be warnings, not a set of instructions." I feel like Mr. Beast and a bunch of TV producers really need to hear that. Alright, back on topic. These Beast games are a complete disaster from a bunch of people's accounts. It's to the point where I don't know if a bunch of people are just making stuff up, but I can definitely believe that at least a lot of bad stuff is happening. So they cast a wide variety of people to be a part of this, even like elderly people, and they thought it was going to be like the Squid Games. It wasn't just athleticism tests; it would be a bunch of other stuff too. But then you get there, and it's mainly just athleticism stuff, like it's a Ninja Warrior show or something. And it gets to the point where allegedly a bunch of the dudes are just like tackling people and like breaking their bones. I'm not laughing at their suffering. I'm laughing at how terribly planned this is. Like, how do you let this happen? And this isn't even like the only part that happened. There's like people getting seizures because they're not getting their medication. They were only given like 400-calorie meals every 12 hours. They could only sleep like 3 to 4 hours. There was one girl who wasn't getting pads, and she's allergic to regular pads, so she had to use the same one for like 2 days. They were giving people food that the people put down on a document that they were allergic to. And then, my personal favorite detail, maybe favorite's the wrong word to use, but according to the New York Times, so you know how they tell you they only got like 400 calories every 12 hours? So you wouldn't get actual food, but they would give you a lot of Feastables bars that the crew would then film you eating and enjoying. Are these things filled with like a mind control serum? Jimmy is acting like people eating these things is the only thing keeping him afloat. Listen, y'all, I'm not the king of good planning, but how do you mess up this badly? And also, I forgot to mention, so the contestants that left or were eliminated, you would get a $1,000 consolation prize on camera. However, allegedly, once the camera stopped rolling and filming you getting your prize, they would go, "Oh, sorry, bro. So the money that we just offered you on camera, yeah, this isn't the actual payment. We're going to give you the actual payment later." And then they don't actually send you the actual payment a lot of the time. With all the stuff that's coming out, I really, really want to see video evidence of this stuff, especially the thing where they're like giving these starving people the Feastables. I need the footage for that. I just cannot believe somebody would do that. And much like the whole grooming situation we just talked about, stuff just keeps getting added on. Like, there's apparently a Time article that was unearthed where a former employee who was being interviewed talked about how the Beast crew viewed worker safety and stuff as like a weakness thing. So they're basically playing Ocean Gate 2.0. And now Mr. Beast is like sending cease and desist to people, and he's doing it with the same law firm that's like running the third-party investigation for the Ava Tyson stuff. Guys, I've had fever dreams that were less eventful than this. How does all of this happen in the span of like a couple weeks?